Today, we would like to talk to you about understanding consumer behavior by experiment for our consumer behavior class. First, we would like to identify what a consumer need is. A need is to desire something very much. Furthermore, it's an essential that you must have to live a satisfactory life or to achieve a particular thing. Maslow defines needs in a hierarchic pyramid, starting with the psychological needs and moves up to self-actualization. Within our project, we decided that our focus would be on safety needs. When you think about security issues, the words that comes to mind is criminality, robbery, home invasion, thefts, murders. In addition to this, we found different quotes to exemplify how big an issue security is within Brazil and Europe. One of them was that the latest estimate from the crime survey for England and Wales showed 8% increase in theft when compared with 2017. Another one stated that Brazil records more than 26,000 murders in the first semester of 2018. Interviews were made to understand what consumers' thoughts are about their own safety within their home country. The way in which we did this was by interviewing 5 people with 3 different nationalities: Brazil, France, and Denmark. This is as we wanted to compare safety issues in Brazil and Europe. The questions were about the consumer's own experience about safety and what they would be willing to do to improve this safety. For example, we asked interviewers about how safe they feel in their house, or when they think about a house that is perfectly safe, what does it have then? From the interviews, the equipment mentioned by consumers were as pictures on the slide. From the interviews, we conducted that in order to satisfy the need of safety, our focus will have to be on alarms, security cameras, and safety boxes as the main security equipment. This is as these were the most common ones mentioned by the consumers in the interviews. The answers from the interviews helped us to do the consumer experience cycle. The consumer will go through the main steps of decision making. They will start by recognizing that there is a safety issue. Hereby, they will do research upon the issue and also search for security options. Then the consumer will evaluate the price and the different brands and purchase a security product. Within the post-purchase, the consumer will observe the functions and eventually write reviews or advise others upon the product they bought. We defined 3 hypotheses using unconscious information processing theory that could change the consumer experience. The first one is, Brazilians are more likely to purchase security equipment than Europeans. The second one is, if bad news about crime are showed, people are more likely to buy security equipment than when they see good news. And finally, if Brazilians are getting information about lack of security in a country, they are purchasing more security equipment than in any other cases. This makes sense because the consumer will be interested in the safety problems and all the possible options and products that exist only if the consumer is aware that he is likely to face a security issue. Our experiment design is 2 times 2. That means that we have 2 independent variables with 2 different levels. Our dependent variable is the willingness to buy security equipment, where we focus on alarm, security camera, and safety box. Moreover, our independent variables is positive news or negative news, and European people or Brazilian people. To start our analysis, we needed to do a survey so we could have 120 answers we would analyze. To do so, we used Qualtrics. We translated the questions in 3 different languages: Portuguese, French, and Danish. People were reading a positive or a negative text randomly and were asking, according to the text, to answer a question using Likert scale. The software that we use to run our analysis is SPSS. Thanks to it, we have been able to see if our hypotheses were supported or not. We choose to do a t-test for the first one and the second hypothesis. Indeed, we studied the relation between nationality and safety equipment, and also news content and safety equipment. For the third hypothesis, we used ANOVA. Indeed, in our independent variable, we had 4 samples: Europe positive, Europe negative, Brazil positive, and Brazil negative. As you can see, all our hypotheses have been supported, except with the alarm in the first one. To conclude, when people are exposed to crime, they tend to have a higher willingness to pay for security cameras. The results showed what we thought before starting this project, that Brazilians are more likely to buy security systems than Europeans. We would recommend companies to increase their sales and get consumers' attention by playing on emotional selling proposition.